Chair, thanks the gentleman. Chair now recognizes the ranking member of the full committee, Mr. Representative Larsen, for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Subcommittee Chair Perry and Subcommittee Ranking Member Stanton, for convening today's hearing. Emergency management in the U.S. today stands at a crossroads. As the nation grapples with the devastation caused by Hurricanes Helene and Milton, the wildfires in L.A., and other disasters across the country, FEMA's role has come under intense scrutiny. The combined damage and economic losses from Hurricane Helene and the L.A. wildfires alone exceed $200 billion. Successfully managing recovery efforts for such catastrophic events will require robust congressional oversight, supplemental funding, and presidential leadership. Instead of uniting the nation, though, to rebuild what has been lost, the administration has unfortunately exploited and politicized these disasters. The president has spread misinformation in the wake of these tragedies, threatened to condition disaster aid, and doubled down on his suggestion to eliminate FEMA altogether. Just yesterday, Secretary Noem said, quote, "We are going to eliminate FEMA," end quote, during a cabinet meeting. No, we are not. These actions are harmful to disaster survivors and the women and men who work at FEMA and have dedicated their lives to helping fellow Americans respond to and recover from disasters. FEMA's mission is clear: to assist people before, during, and after disasters. States turn to FEMA when they have exceeded their capacity to respond to a disaster. As Pete Gaynor, FEMA administrator during President Trump's first term, aptly stated, emergency management is locally executed, state managed, and federally supported. FEMA provides a critical backstop when all other options and resources are exhausted. Eliminating FEMA would not make communities safer, would not reduce insurance premiums, would not improve outcomes for disaster survivors. Instead, it would shift the burden of disaster response and accountability from the federal government to state and local governments. Now, Democrats have long championed improvements to the delivery of disaster assistance. It isn't new to us that FEMA needs to be reformed. And last year, many bipartisan FEMA-related bills were discussed in this committee, and we attempted to pass them out of the House. Representative Titus's Disaster Survivor Fairness Act to reform FEMA's individual assistance program. Representative Stanton's Wildfire Response Improvement Act to make FEMA's programs better equipped to address impacts of wildfires. And Representative Negus's Disaster Management Costs Modernization Act to build state and local emergency management capacity. Democrats remain committed to pursuing bipartisan FEMA reforms, and getting reform right, however, requires careful consideration and input from emergency management professionals. For example, the President has suggested that disaster assistance could be fixed by simply providing block grants for recovery to impacted states. FEMA already offers a block grant option through the Public Assistance Alternative Procedures Program authorized by Section 428 of the Stafford Act. However, states rarely use this authority due to the perceived risks involved. The Department of Housing and Urban Development's long-term disaster recovery block grant program has faced challenges in delivering outcomes, and similarly has been the subject of bipartisan scrutiny. If we want these reforms to federal emergency management to succeed, the reforms must be informed by the challenges faced by existing programs and built on recent progress. For instance, in 2019, Congress authorized the creation of a pre-disaster mitigation grant program known as BRIC to enhance community resilience against disasters while reducing recovery costs for individuals as well as state and local governments. This was passed as part of the Disaster Recovery Reform Act, and I want to thank the Trump 1.0 administration for advocating for this and for the President for signing that bill. So any reforms to FEMA should focus on expanding the agency's capability to support resilience projects and not diminishing them. So I look forward to discussing possible solutions to improve FEMA and outcomes for disaster survivors with the panel of qualified experts that we have before us today. I want to thank you all for being here and look forward to your testimony. Yield back.
Chair, thank